morning, everyone. How are you? I really hope this day finds you so unbelievably well. I know everyone is going through the health scare, the wealth scare, and that your relationships and your life might be very isolated and alone right now. So firstly, hi and welcome. If you're not familiar with the channel, I am Emily, sometimes known as Sham, sometimes known as Shamanism, and some people rudely call me late for dinner. No, I'm kidding. But I am an entrepreneur, an author, a musician, and who knows what else, and a gardener, and I am here to grow you into your next best versions. So without further ado, shall we get into the meat of this video, not to use a completely crude phrase. I'm trying to drop that from my vocabulary because it doesn't fit with who I am as a human. Anyway, with that being set aside, today I want to go over the 3 biggest mistakes that you're probably making with your diet right now. And when I say diet, I want to be clear. I am not talking about a diet plan. No. I'm talking about a sustainable way of life and some really, really big trigger problems, literally, with what you're probably eating that is literally killing you, if not at least making you sick. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Oh, and before I add what they are, I just want to add that the last one, you're going to get a bonus. So make sure you stay till the end because it is genuinely one of the most important things you can do for yourself and your life and your body. So make sure you stick with me because these are gems. And I know when you hear them, you'll probably have a little resistance, but I just want to put it out there that, guys, these tips are things that I learned from healing myself. And I'm not going to steer you wrong. You know, I've, number 1, healed from many things. And number 2, I've kept off 50 pounds for the last 5 years. I do know what I'm talking about. So let's get into it. The first thing that your mistake you're probably making is that you're eating cheese, milk, or some kind of a dairy product on, if not a weekly basis, on a daily basis. Now, the biggest issue with dairy, besides the fact that if you're in America, you know, the system that we have currently set up for the majority of folks that are drinking milks is not kind at all. It's a very not compassionate process. I won't go into the depth of it in this video, but I would highly encourage you guys to look into the dairy industry in America. It is not a compassionate industry at all. And no matter how light and shiny and happy and how many smiling cows they put on the milk containers, guys, and no matter how many times you have heard that horrible commercial that used to play from when I was a kid, milk does a body good, I cannot encourage you enough to drop the dairy from your diet. You want to know what the main issue is with dairy? Here's the issue. Besides, like I said, the compassion aspect, which for me is huge because one of my biggest, I would say almost core values perhaps, is compassion. If you're not compassionate, bye. So, but there is a more literal physical reason for that too. And that reason is kind of gross, but it's mucus. And the reason that dairy causes a mucosic response from your entire body, by the way, true fact, is because it's actually a foreign substance to us. Milk, literally, these dairy milks were intended for those baby animals, not for us. And that's why you'll see that a lot of people who are drinking dairy, is that a thing? Anyway, that are drinking milks, having cheeses, you're ingesting just a ton of mucus, and all it's going to do is clog up your body and make things run smoother. I was thinking of the opposite. It's going to slow down your system is what I meant to say. It's going to clog up your system and your arteries and everything. Honestly, it's horrendously terrible for your body. So if I can encourage you to do one thing this year, it's to drop the dairy from your diet because you would not believe. And again, I'm going to get a little bit gross, just a little bit, because it's important to discuss. But guys, when you drop that dairy, the more and more healthy foods you start to put into your body, you will see, number 1, that dairy just comes out of you, and so does all of this mucus. And I know that's gross to hear, but I'm just trying to explain to you the depth of how, for instance, I'm actually a great example of this myself because I came through this whole journey. I was eating milk. I was drinking milk. I was eating meat 5 years ago, 6 years ago, more like now. 6, yeah, we're coming up on like 7 actually now. But anyway, the point is I was eating these things. So I'm not just speaking from a place of like advising you either. I am speaking from a place of I have 100% been there. I've made these mistakes, and that's why I'm here to warn you. So mucus in general, it'll just clog up your body, and that is what will make you sick. And why are you asking yourself, does dairy respond like this? Because it's a foreign substance in our body. Again, it's literally, the universe, guys, is so brilliant. And listen, the bottom line of that being that cow's milk is tailored for a baby cow. It's to grow a baby cow, which is why, like I was going to say before, you'll find that people and kids who are drinking dairy will beef up really fast. And by beef up, I mean they'll get fat really quick. And while I'm saying that, I might as well say this as well. One of my favorite things that I ever heard someone say, which pertains to diet and health and well-being, which funny enough, I'd never heard in my life before, even as a 30, I guess I was, 29 or 30 when I first heard this, was something from Freely. Freely the Banana Girl is a huge inspiration to me. And if you guys don't know who she is, she can be a bit abrasive on YouTube. However, that being said, she has so much knowledge and she's lived this, but the thing is that she's passionate about saving animal lives, as am I, and she can come off a bit aggressive, but she's extremely intelligent and I very much respect, I don't really know how to word it, but I just have insane respect for the woman. Anyway, she said, you're not fat, you have fat. And it was one of the most, like, as crazy as that sounds, it was one of the most life-altering things I've ever heard in my life, because it literally changed my perspective on my body and my relationship to my body, my relationship to what I was eating, and my relationship to even how I spoke to myself. So the first thing I would encourage you to do is just drop the dairy and the animal products from your life, but particularly that dairy, anything cheese, milks, you will drop the weight. You will feel much better because your body will just be less clogged up with gunk, and you won't be getting sick as much. And if you don't think that I'm telling the truth, try it and find out for yourself, because I promise that will work. Like, I can almost say with 100% certainty, there should be no reason that you shouldn't feel much better if you drop dairy from your diet. So that's the first suggestion. You're definitely, probably, most of you out there, if you're really honest, having dairy. And I think a lot of us do know now that we shouldn't. So the second mistake you're probably making out there, if you're a pretty large chunk of the world, is you're eating meat. Meat is a carcinogen, guys. Meat is literally carcinogenic. So I'm sure that if you're probably asking yourself, like, how can that be? The same as cigarettes? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, I agree. To be eating that is insane to me. Why would you wouldn't go to the store, buy a pack of cigarettes, and then chow down on that, right? That's disgusting, right? Right. So why would you eat meat? Because the bottom line is that if you take nothing away from this video other than this, and forgetting entirely about any of the nutritional aspects of meat, it's a carcinogen. It is literally as harmful to your body as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. And we eat meats, we used to, I sure don't, but we eat meats on a daily basis, and we think that that's not going to affect our body, guys. I can tell you from personal experience that it will. And that's not even dealing with the most basic aspect, which is that, and listen, guys, I came from this place, but let me just bring your consciousness to it. We're waking up as a planet. We're coming back home. We're waking up from this sleep. It's time to realize that we need to take consciousness into everything we do. We need to consciously consume everything. You need to make sure what you're consuming with your eyes, what you're consuming with your literal mouth, what you're speaking, how you're speaking to yourself. All of your consumption you should pay attention to. And meat, unfortunately, well, actually, it's not unfortunate. It's unfortunate for the animals, because think about it. Now, I know some of you are going to have some resistance when I say this, because you'll be like, that's a crazy analogy, but it's not really. If you let it sink in, it's really not. So let me give you a little perspective. If we look at the worlds of an ant, does an ant know what the heck happened if you say step on its, just as a for instance, I would never do this, but on purpose. But if you step on an anthill, the ants go crazy. They freak out. They're going to be trapped, right? I'm trying to help you guys. And when you're eating meats, guys, you're ingesting that animal's death, that animal's sadness and pain. And more importantly is you're literally killing your own body, because carcinogens, as you guys, well, you can research on your own if you don't know what a carcinogen is, but to put something in your body that is as cancer causing or producing as a cigarette seems to me crazy. So really, if you take away nothing else from this video, I would highly encourage you to bring compassion into your life. We don't need meat to survive, guys. I promise you that. If you're worried about protein, spirulina is, I don't know if it's algae exactly or a kelp or whatever, but anyway, it's a plant food. I believe it's algae. And it has plenty of protein. It is a complete source of protein. And I just want to quickly speak to the protein thing. There is major overhype going on in regards to protein. Have you ever met a single protein deficient person in a developed country like the USA, Canada, the UK? I'm betting you haven't. But look around the next time that you're in the grocery store and look at the protein hype. There's protein hype everywhere. We're putting it in vegan like power bars, where they're putting it into just all sorts of strange things, to be honest. You remember, I guess maybe like a decade ago they kind of started this, but they started to fortify the cereals and they started to put all these nutrients into like things that didn't have them before. For instance, orange juice used to just be orange juice. And now if you look out there, it's like orange juice with calcium or with fiber, which don't even get me started on that tangent, because if you're drinking orange juice, like first of all, there's two ways you can drink the orange juice. You can strain it, in which case you won't really be getting any fiber, but you'll get all the nutrients. Or you can just fresh squeeze it and you'll get pulp, which is natural fiber. So why would you need to, if you eat right, guys, you won't need that fortified fiber is the point in your diet. So the third tip, the mistake that you're probably making, and I know I definitely was before I changed my diet around, is drinking enough water. Guys, the planet and us are made up mostly of water. And I think back to when I was going through primary school, I used to go to school, and I don't know if it was because I was afraid of the germs or or why, but I remember I really didn't drink like any water. And I don't know, to be honest, now thinking back, I don't really know how I got through school and survived, because the amount I drank was like nothing. I think I must have drank only at lunch times, which was like an hour a day we got for lunch and recess, and we would have like maybe our little containers of juice or water or apple juice, whatever the school gave us. The school lunches too were just terrible, and they continue to be in the US, I'm sorry to say. But anyway, the third thing that you're probably doing wrong is not drinking enough water. And I know that we hear that everywhere, but let me make an extra point about it that most people don't make. It's not just any water. It's alkaline water. Guys, change your water, change your life. When I first heard that, I was like, it's water. How much can it change my life? But the thing is, it can. If you start to drink alkaline water, guys, and message me. If you're interested in what water do I drink, I can hook you up with some of the best water on earth. It's amazing. Having said that, that's a different tangent, but water, the right water, guys, gets into your cells and energizes you in a better, more efficient, more effective way, and works via something called microclustering, which I won't go into here. But it just means essentially that the water that enters your cells is much more easily absorbed, and so ultimately you get a lot more water from the water that you're drinking, which is, of course, excellent for our bodies. Now the bonus, because you beautiful people hung around, thank you, by the way, so much. And these tips will really help your diet. So if you are making these mistakes, you'll find that you're going to lose some weight, you're going to feel a lot better, you're going to have a lot higher levels of energy just by tweaking these things, by removing dairies, by removing meat. Just give it a try. If you think I'm crazy, just give these things a try, and by drinking more water. So the last suggestion I would make to you guys, and it really is a big deal, and I know that if you try this, this will positively affect you. And that is to consume the most amount of raw living food, like salad, like fresh fruits, as you possibly can on a daily basis. That might sound intimidating at first, but it's not actually so hard to implement. One really easy way you can start doing this is if you just incorporate fresh fruits as your breakfast. So take me for instance. My routine right now is I get up, I do yoga, I meditate, then I have an 8-ounce glass of celery juice, which for me is helping to heal my psoriasis. And then A little later, about a half hour, an hour, I have a 32 ounce glass of orange juice, guys. That's a lot of fluids. And then during the day, you can't see the water that's in here right now, but I drink quite a few of those, probably about 8 at least, but it depends. It varies how much I drink, but that water is delicious alkaline water of 9.5, and that will hydrate the crap out of you. But I have to say, be careful with the waters you choose, because if you're choosing water that is in a bottle, here's a fun fact about water. The water that you guys see on the shelves has been there for a year to 2 years. That is not fresh water. Now, the water I drink is alkaline water, which I would highly encourage you guys to look into and investigate, because it actually has made a huge difference. And alkaline water can actually help to heal conditions like eczema and psoriasis and things like that, which are inflammatory conditions, because as you probably know, water is a low-key anti-inflammatory, just like celery juice. Well, celery juice is potent, don't get me off on that. We will talk about that in another video. So those main tips, just to do a little recap, the big problems that you're probably making and should think about changing if you really want to get healthy in 2021, which, by the way, you should focus on, because if you don't have 100% health in 2020, if you didn't have 100% health going from 2020 into 2021, now is the time. If you don't take it seriously now, it could take you out. And again, if you didn't learn that in the last year, well, welcome. Hi, we're dealing with a certain virus that could literally take people out if you don't mind your health. So please, for your own sake, for the sake of your children, your friends, whoever, but do it for you. Your health is your number one source of wealth. So again, to recap, you're probably drinking milk. Don't. It'll fill your body with mucus. It'll make you gain crazy weight. Take the dairy out of your diet. Take out the meat. It's a carcinogen. It's like having a pack of cigarettes a day. And besides the fact that I don't think most of us would feed our children a pack of cigarettes a day or have them smoking, we shouldn't do that to ourselves. And it's cruel. The animals are dying for this. And when you ingest meat, you're ingesting that animal's grief and sadness as it dies. I mean, I know that that's morbid, but it's true. Take out the milk, take out the meat, and drink more alkaline water. If you can get your hands on alkaline water, drink it. If you can't, do the best you can, drink with a filter or something at least. Because the fluoride and the chemicals that these companies put into the piping of your house and into the city piping is what will really make you sick. It's what comes off into the water also and will make you so sick. So clean water, lots of water, drop the milk, drop the meat, and for goodness sake, incorporate more raw living fruits and vegetables, because the thing is, guys, we're on a planet where we eat the information. The raw living foods are what have the information. And when I first heard that, I really did think people were kind of, but no, it's true. And I can say that definitively now, like there was an absolute change, and you'll feel it after a while. It might take some time because your system is probably clogged with all sorts of ick. But if you begin to get it out and let your body do its job, which, by the way, guys, your body is amazing. It cleanses and cleans us all the time. It does all sorts of things for you that we don't even appreciate it for, like your heart continuing to beat, your lungs continuing to breathe. You know, we take these things for granted and we shouldn't. So with that, those were the hopefully mistakes that now I've clarified for you why maybe you're not getting healthy or feeling as good. And I really hope that that helps you change your life for the better, because I know that those mistakes that I was making literally kept me sick and they got me chronically ill. So to help you avoid those situations, I am eager and desperate, well, not desperate, but eager to point you in the right direction of what will help you to feel better, to heal that body. So that's been it for me. I can't wait to see you guys. There's another 2 uploads this week. Don't forget, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday by 10 a.m. EST. I hope you're all having a beautiful week. I hope you had a great Martin Luther King Day, a nice long weekend, and you're refreshed and rejuvenated. And I hope that you take these tips really into consideration, because they will make a massive impact on how much better you feel. And I know we all want to thrive in 2021. So let's be the cool people that make the change. Let's be those people that are crazy enough to think we can change the world by changing ourselves. Have a beautiful week, you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Much love. Bye.